Welcome to another St. Pete by Night revamped production. The following is rated for mature audiences and may contain graphic themes that will be distressing to some viewers. As always, we recommend you ensure the safety and well-being of yourself and those around you at all times. Viewer discretion is advised.
In the heart of night, we rise from shadows, howling at the moon, igniting our battles, cleansing Gaia of an endless fight, until our final days we will fight. Thanks, man, we stand united as one. Evil spirits lurking with horror and dread. Little light leads us where the brave dare tread. Glory and honor, wisdom in our hand. Together we rise, take our final stand. Everywhere we run, the wind is at our back. All the warring forces we will track. From the depths of the ocean to the clouds in the sky, vampires tremble as we learn to fight. Rage across Tampa, in this fight we'll stay. Evil spirits lurking with horror and dread. Little light leads us where the brave dare tread. Glory and honor, wisdom in our hand. Together we rise, take our final stand. Rage across Tampa, in this fight we'll stay. Everywhere with the pack, let the night be our guide. In battles of honor, we shall never hide. Fuck you, never hide.
Good evening and welcome to the St. Pete by Night Entertainment Network. St. Petersburg by Night is an online World of Darkness role-playing community originated in St. Petersburg, Florida, but now reaching out to the entire world. My name is Kent, also known as Michigan on all social media, and I will be your storyteller tonight. And it's Tuesday night, and you know what that means? It's time for Rage Across Tampa, our Werewolf the Apocalypse 5th edition chronicle set in the city of Tampa Bay, Florida. And we're back after an unexpected week off due to theme park illness / madness. That's all finally been resolved for the most part, and we are feeling fine and up to the task and here to provide you with your regular Tuesday night entertainment. So while we're, talking about things, why don't you go follow St. Pete by Night on all of that social media you see listed down below and come join our community by following that Discord link in the description, because we have some very, very exciting developments happening right now as we speak. And one of those developments is our ongoing actual play auditions. If you've ever wanted to be a part of the Tampaverse, if you've ever wanted to dip your toes into the world of darkness in an actual play capacity, if you've ever wanted to try to be on an actual play, we are looking for you. And that being said, let's take a look at our ad. So, as we said, those auditions are happening. In fact, we had our first audition last night, and let me tell you, the competition is horny. Sorry, I mean stiff. So you should get into the server and get involved, because who knows, maybe you'll end up joining a wonderful table such as this, or Hellhounds, or a possible third campaign that may be starting within the Tampaverse. Don't wait, because we are already finding some pretty amazing people, and you don't want to miss out just because you were dragging your feet about the whole ordeal. But enough about that. Let's talk about the reason we're actually here, Rage Across Tampa, and let's introduce the amazing cast that makes Rage Across Tampa possible. Players, go ahead and introduce yourselves, if you please.
Hi, everybody. I'm Champ, Champagne, Little Cheeky Banana Boy, whatever you want to call me, and I'll be playing Aspen Weiss, Philodox of the Silverfangs.
Hi, everybody. I'm Nori. I'll be playing Malicious Jester, the Galliard of the Black Furies.
Hey everyone, my name's Preston. I play Jason Dreams and Decay Thorn, the Urge of the Bonar.
All right, players, so let's get everyone caught up on what happened just a couple of weeks ago. The pack completed their raid on Gatorland by liberating the 8 gators, or the 8 seemingly very sentient and intelligent gators from Gatorland, and returning them to She Who Shines in the Whedon Island Preserve. You also brought the unconscious guards that seem to have been in association with the leech that was fought within the swamp, and the fate of those guards was quickly determined by the howls and screams and crunching noises coming from the trees after She Who Shines and her friends retreated. Then, in the second half, we saw Jester go to Artie asking for assistance, but realizing that maybe Artie might be a little bit over his head in terms of everything that he's dealing with, so she held back a little bit. But what does this mean for their relationship in the long run? That remains to be seen. Then Jace assisted Eliza with some encroaching banes that seem to be growing closer and closer to the cairn, especially a bane of addiction that has been lingering lately around the area. And then we saw Aspen meet with Anna Pelfrey, her law partner, and the Ghost Council Galliard, to whom she laid out her plan for how she plans to take on Piney Point, at least from a legal perspective. Now we move on to our story this evening as 2 members of the pack convene at Jace's bar, and an introduction is incoming. So, Jester and Jace. Jester, you've been acting as emissary to the Farah, these other changing breeds that seem to be arriving in the area as of late. And so far, you have a pretty good knowledge or, connection with most of them. But there's a certain group that is somewhat new to the scene that you have yet to have a proper introduction to, those being the gang of Ratkin that have been associating with Jace as of late, and now are starting to take up a lot of residence and a lot of resources in Jace's back room at the Split Helm. But before we get to all that, the 2 of you meet, outside of that back room and are able to prepare yourselves for the incoming interaction. But my first question would be, what's going through your mind as you prepare for this interaction? Jester, we'll start with you.
I am interested in meeting the, I guess the children of Rat, basically. As a spirit, even though he's sneaky and manipulative and likes to hoard secrets like a dragon hoards gold, I kind of like Rat, so interesting to see what his kids are like, and interested in meeting these teenagers that keep slipping in and out of the back room and stealing some of the best alcohol when we're not looking.
And Jace, you've been dealing with the Ratkin for a while and actually forming more of a friendship with them, but you haven't yet introduced them to anybody. You haven't brought them to the sept or, really made that connection as of yet. So how are you feeling going into this introduction to Jester?
Mostly excited. Anytime that he gets to introduce people that are outside of the realm of the pack, he gets excited on how the interaction is going to go, whether it be good or bad. He just wants to witness what's going to happen. And with Jester being Jester, he's curious on how Skeeter's going to be and wants to see if there's going to be a kind of a sassy rebuttal going back and forth between the two of them, or if they're just going to hit it off really well. So he's just really excited to see what's going to happen next.
Okay. So you're outside of the back room, but away from the main bar area where voices can be overheard coming through. As the bar is currently open and active, many bikers kind of scattered amongst the tables in the bar area, as well as some of the dock workers and some truck drivers that have been taking to this special that's offered for, half price drinks to anyone with a commercial driver's license. But the scene is yours for the moment before you head into the back room.
How you feeling?
I'm all right. How about you?
I'm dealing. Things are a bit crazy here, but not just when you'll point towards the door, like also out there. Just,
Yeah.
When I made the special, the idea about having people come in, I didn't think it was going to take as well as it has been.
Yeah, it has gained a lot of popularity.
Yeah, which I guess is a good thing. This place is supposed to be somewhat remote and kind of off the beaten path, but it is what it is.
I mean, we could always end the deal and, they might leave or something. We'll probably get some regulars. Have you found any interesting things out, though? Has it been worth it?
The chatter's been okay. They're pretty tight-lipped here, so it's taking a little bit more to get them, and the stuff that they're giving is more of back home, the things that are going on, not so much what's on the road right now.
I guess we can figure out if we can fix that. Or just leave it.
I think over time it'll start kicking in. I just think it's as people are passing through, as we get more regulars, they'll loosen up a little bit.
So, yeah, you gonna give me any sort of warning or, info before we enter? Or are you just gonna see how things turn out and play a little social engineering there?
I'll let you know that the Skeeter, he's the one that he's not necessarily in charge, but he is one. He's kind of like the voice of them. He's direct about a lot of things, but he will try and wiggle things out of you. So any deals he brings up, I recommend just saying no, unless you really want it. He's quick.
Okay.
So as you open the door to the back room, there's a cheer that erupts from the back room. And Jace, for the first time, you recognize that the dartboard that was originally in the main bar area has absconded and moved to the back area. This is where we find a group of 16 to 19-year-old kids, 5 of them all gathered up in a huddled group, one of them preparing to toss another dart at the dartboard. But upon seeing you, they get distracted and miss entirely, sending the dart flying into the wall up high, almost out of reach of all of you. One of them steps forward, a young man wearing a kind of a stocking cap, a tank top, and very, very loose-fitting Jinko pants that almost completely encompass their feet to the point you can't see their feet beneath the pants themselves. Jace, you know this to be Skeeter, the leader, seemingly, of the Ratkin kids, although it was referred to in a previous conversation that there is someone else that they answer to that you have not quite been introduced to yet. He gives a big smile and raises up a glass bottle, the label having been peeled off of it in a toast, before saying, Jace! Hey, buddy.
Hey. Someone's gonna get that out of the wall, right?
Probably.
And the dartboard.
Well, I mean, it's not like there's a pinball machine back here or anything, and I don't think anybody will miss it. Do you see how old they all are out there? Like, it's
the
Ohio
aesthetic.
out there.
Okay. Okay. We had all right. They enjoyed dartboards there. Okay. All right. Rude. Okay. He'll turn back towards Jester. Skeeter. This is Jester. She's a good friend of mine.
What's up, hot stuff? He does with finger gun. So she's like you. Right on.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, it's good to meet you. Come on in. We're just, having some fun. Guys, make some room. And he goes to the rest of the gang, who all kind of scatter into tables in the corner.
I'll lean towards Jace. It's cool. Ohio is just what the kids nowadays refer to things being whack, crazy.
That's valid. As someone who's from Ohio, yeah, it is a little crazy out there.
Makes no damn sense, kind of thing. Yeah.
Got
So,
it.
Jester, can I get you a drink? Jace is buying.
No thanks.
Well, come on in. And he moves to one of the vacant tables and pulls out a folding chair before sitting back in it and kicking his feet up on the table. And once his feet are sufficiently kicked up on the table, the pants roll back enough to see some beat up Converse shoes. So what's your deal with all this?
Deal with all the bar. I'm a part-time bartender, and
Well, I meant, that, but also the rest. The whole yeet and potatoes of it all.
I like to tell stories and occasionally get huge and furry and rip things apart.
You're
And
hearing
bite things off stuff.
deep inhalation, almost like a gasp of breath from the rest of the group as Skeeter looks over and then looks back at you. Storyteller, huh? Tell us a story.
What kind of story you want to hear? I have so many.
I don't know. Tell us something funny. There's not enough funny stories these days. Everything's all doom and gloom and shit's hit the fan.
Okay, so just last week we were looking around. Okay, so just last week we were in Gatorland trying to free some gators to make a deal with somebody else. And Jace isn't exactly the most in the wilderness type. And so, he was trying to climb this wall. And I'll go into the whole story of him climbing the wall and trying to swim through the water and stuff like that. And just
Skeeter then
and
looks over towards Jace with a shaking of his head. What would Dad say?
He'd ask why this kid's out in the middle of the muck and not in the city. That's what he would say.
Fair point. Yeah, why were you there exactly?
He was helping me out.
With? You can't
Freeing some
tell a
gators.
tease of a story like that without giving the whole context. You got to understand, I see the world as a whole, not in small separate parts.
I can see things other people can't and provide insight to different things that are on the other side.
I wasn't talking about that. I was asking why you guys were at Gatorland.
Oh,
You're
we
acting
were
like
doing
a
a
bunch of
favor.
fucking tourists here.
We were doing a favor for somebody. quid pro quo. We do something for them. They help us out later.
Somebody once told me the world was gonna roll me. Like what?
Yeah.
Somebody who?
Smash Mouth.
Come on, we are all friends
I
here.
said it.
We're
I did the
all...
favor for Smash Mouth.
No, you didn't. Even I know you're lying.
I mean, it's pretty fucking obvious, isn't it? I wasn't even trying to tell the truth.
I'm pretty sure most of Smash Mouth is dead now. What are they, like 45, 46 at this point?
Do you think you like die at 40?
Don't you? Have you seen our kind?
You'll lean over. He has a point as far as age goes. 40 would be kind of...
40 is kind of...
I don't expect to make it to 25, let alone 40. I was told, like, die young, live fast, leave a beautiful corpse, that kind of deal. Except don't leave the corpse, because then apparently that just fucks everything up.
Yeah, fair. What would you trade for it? Why should I give all our secrets away for free?
Who said it had to be free? What do you want?
Well, you were trying to get it from me for free. Tried to play into the storyteller of me.
Well, it's good to just start the conversation at the very least.
Yeah. I told the story. The story wasn't about who we were working for. The story was about Jace not being good at swamps. He nearly got ate by a gator. Didn't even notice it. Oh, it was...
I had it clocked. I was dealing with something else.
Well, what do you want? Would you want to know perhaps about the current state of a rehab facility, or perhaps, how secure certain apartments are, or who knows where y'all are taking up residence? Any of that interest you?
Quite a bit.
So, who are you talking to? Who are you working for? Who are you dealing with quid pro quoing?
The weregator in the city.
You could see the others start whispering amongst themselves. Oh. Didn't know you had such a tight relationship with them.
It's taking a little while to build some bridges.
Usually very reclusive. I didn't think that they would be as sociable as we are.
Oh, they are not. At least they do not talk as much, so.
Why?
Why did we do it? Look to Jace, look back. So you know what's happening in the city, right?
Yeah. You're acting like we haven't been here for 6 months.
Longer if I'm betting.
He doesn't respond, just smiles.
We need allies. That's just the simplest explanation.
Really aren't the guru we've come to know and hate and fear and be butchered by on a regular basis. Allies? Friends? Among the other Farah? You?
I may know the
Yes.
stories of my people doesn't mean I have to be like them.
But isn't it important to the storytellers to carry on the traditions?
Sometimes traditions need to change, and sometimes those lessons were taught incorrectly. I don't think we would be here now in the position we're in if we hadn't have made the same mistakes that we made previously.
Too true. Too true. All right. You've answered my question. Now I'm prepared to answer one of yours.
Does Bateman know about her?
How do you think she got there? Takes
Just
a certain
nod.
type to walk into a place like that of their own free will, and if I know anything, I know that she was fucking broken.
Kind of give a 1,000-yard stare and just nod. Thanks for confirming.
I think it's what they call reassurances of security. But that's nothing new for their types.
That guy's got his finger in literally everything that goes on around here.
Yeah.
It'd be a pretty bad leech if he didn't. That's what they do, right? Attach themselves to something and just slowly suck the life out of it.
Yeah.
So,
How's your dad?
Well, I mean, you talk to him as much as I do.
Not that dad, the big guy.
Oh, you mean Gavin?
Yeah.
He's good. Doing what he does. He prefers to be the voice behind the voice, you know. He's definitely the old school style of our kind and very, very gun shy around you lot.
I mean, makes sense given our histories. And even I'll admit, not all are like us here in this city.
Well, he's pushing on disproving that rule about living to 40, which is pretty impressive, especially for our kind. But that's what we do, right? We're survivors. And he looks to Jace.
Adapt and survive.
Exactly. So what's the what is it that you're needing allies for? You're looking to finally take on your great white whale? Well, I guess it's a green whale, isn't it? Kind of mossy around the gills.
Yeah. I think we're tired of just having to clean up after them and want to put it into it.
Probably better to do sooner rather than later. The longer it takes, the more ready they're going to be for you.
Yeah. I agree.
Although I'll tell you, I've been hearing rumblings that they are getting close to finding what they're looking for.
They're looking for something.
Oh, yeah. I think you and I both know that what we see on the surface isn't what's going on behind the scenes. The one truly pulling the strings has different motivations in mind. They're just piggybacking off of a great front. Again, some quid pro quo.
Cool. What's it gonna cost to know more?
Apparently, they want a pinball machine to make that happen.
Oh, psh, I can get that for way cheaper.
Free.
Tried.
I'm out free to Jace.
I would like to know your birth name. I mean, I don't assume that you came out of the womb a jester. Although
I
it
can give
is these days, and you know, how many Aidens and Aelins do you need in the world, right?
Yeah. I can give you the one that was written on my birth certificate.
Sure, that works. That's a birth name, isn't it?
Jessica Bennett.
What about a middle name? You can't just give me 2/3.
Jessica Lynn Bennett.
Lynn's an old lady name.
Well, it was named after one of my maternal grandmother. My
Yeah.
adopted maternal grandmother.
Well, let's just say the dogs of war are on the hunt, and they have been combing the fields looking for their quarry. Well, quarries, since there's a group of them, aren't there? See, Papa Dog wants some new friends. Or, well, to at least get others out of the way, if need be, but they'd prefer new friends.
What they're looking for is pretty well hidden, though.
Is it? It's Florida. There's not a lot of fields in this area. We're kind of near the coast, and it's a more, urban area. It's only a matter of time, isn't it?
Do you have a timeline?
I don't know. I mean, I'm not them. I don't do what they do. I can just only tell you I've heard that there is a lot of action happening out there. The beauty of being able to split into multiple pieces is you can cover more ground.
Look over to Jester. Might need to schedule a visit to some of our other friends here soon.
Yeah.
Assuming they're still your friends.
Don't. Half glass, half full kind of guy.
I like that. Me too. If I wouldn't, I'd probably have, gone the way of the dodo.
Extinct, and then people trying to bring you back.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can relate. Yeah, I get that. Yeah, we should pay them a visit.
The last time we were out there, they were close.
Check in on also how prepared we are with the weapon we're trying to get.
Yeah. Skeeter. Buddy, pal.
Jason.
What would it? I thought we were past that.
We are.
How much
So
would it
insulting.
cost me? A little bit. How much would it cost me for you to acquire cold iron?
It's a pretty big ask. that's not really our business. We usually scavenge as best as we can. I can't guarantee I'd get you anything substantial.
You can find
Besides,
out where.
I thought you already had a resource for that.
He pushes back into his chair. Yeah, we got one.
The price getting too steep?
I'm not the one to ask about it. I'm wanting to search different avenues.
I can look, but I can't charge you anything until I know how much I can get. It wouldn't be fair. Consider it the cousin guarantee or generosity.
I'll take it. Look over towards Jester. She won't be mad about me wanting to acquire more outside of the deal, right?
You could probably make inquiries. I don't think that would be a problem, but you know, if you do anything to mess
Pretty
up
sure.
the deal, she'd probably be kind of upset.
You'll
My
take
hand will be
whatever you
clean
can
from it.
get. After the last one
Yeah.
went tits up. Literally.
Yeah. I think she'd like having a different angle since we lost one.
Yeah. Des, let me know. We can get Skeeter. If anything, the location of where some is being held.
I've already told you where some's being held, but you're not going to get it anytime soon.
Not.
And neither
that
am
one,
I.
just-
That one's locked up tighter than Fort Knox.
Yeah, not with just the physical stuff either.
Yep.
The little side thing that I have you working on, though, when you get a moment, I just want to chat with you about that.
You don't trust your good friend Jessica here?
You look towards her.
Do you want me to leave?
No, it's fine. It's good that you hear this anyways. I'm just any additional information on him, movements, anything like that.
He doesn't move around a lot. We try to keep track as best as possible, but night provides certain advantages to their kind, obviously. But if he's leaving the building, it's not on ground level. He, like that precious iron, is locked up tight. You'd think he'd get a little bit more cocky with the boundaries being redrawn, but no, not that one. I think he's waiting to see what you'll do.
I like the dumb leeches that like to push boundaries. They're a lot easier to read and understand.
Oh, there are plenty of those. Believe me. You just got to know where to look for them.
Are some crossing the boundary lines?
Yeah, they are. You got to
Sounds fun.
understand. They're starving. Yeah, this whole boundary made things a little bit easier, but it made it easier for those that have, not the have-nots. And in a small smidgen of a way, I can kind of empathize with those that are left in the dirt, but they're leeches, so that kind of outweighs it the other way. But no, there are those that are scrounging or maybe seeing an opportunity to claim some land of their own in the fallout of everything that's happened. In fact, word is that some of them are even considering turning tail or changing sides. Not to your side. No, they'll never do that, but
I was gonna say they can't.
What side is there?
well, I guess you'd call it the haves and the have-nots, wouldn't you? Those that are up high in their crystal palaces, they're the haves. And then there's the street level, the have-nots, those that want to climb an unclimbable ladder.
Okay.
One thing you gotta love about the young, they've got this ridiculous sense of entitlement, and it doesn't just extend to the living.
Jace sits back a little bit, just there's the wheels in his head are just going.
Has he been to the apartments any time recently? I know you say he doesn't come out, but
No. Those weren't really for him, though, were they?
were the things that they were for still here?
I don't think so. I think they got what they needed and moved on.
Okay.
But I can't say for sure. They are very unnerving, but also really good at not being found if they don't want to be.
That is their MO, though. They're like the white whale, very, very hard to catch. And once you actually see them and you're ready, they'll dive down and be gone.
Or they'll catch you when you're not ready.
Or that.
I'll pull out my phone, and just order a whole bunch of pizza. To have it at the bar, or have it sent to the bar.
I think I've
That's
earned
what
my
we're
pinball machine, haven't you, Jace?
Yeah. Which one do you want? Do you want? No, the Jurassic Park one's pretty popular. Then they have the Beetlejuice one.
Okay. There's one from the early aughts called Attack from Mars.
Okay, I'm going way back. All right.
Yeah. If it was easy to find, I'd have it.
I'll track it down for you and try and get it to your. Just give me some time.
Well, I know that there's a pinball museum up north in Clearwater. So, you know.
Yeah, just one goes missing. Be fine.
Eh.
Didn't get in too much trouble for that.
No, not at all. You know, breaking into
Only
a museum
caught.
and stealing a very
They
large...
call it a museum. It's not actually a museum. It's more like a bar or arcade. But, you know, because they have a bunch of old pinball machines, they can dub it a museum.
See, Jester, that's where you come in. You come with, and we'll be good to go. J&J back on it.
Sure. I'll help you steal a pinball machine.
That sounds like fun.
So,
Is there anything else you are needing, though?
needing? No, we've gotten by with much less than this. This is actually luxury, he says, looking around the room.
It's not much in this room, is there?
No, there's like some folding chairs and tables, and now the new dartboard, as well as like a couple of extra cases of product that Jace has been ordering to compensate for the new guests.
You guys don't want like some futons or like?
We don't live here. We just hang out here.
Yeah,
You don't get
like,
carded.
it's fair, but you know, more than folding chairs and a folding table.
Didn't realize we were at the Ritz-Carlton. I mean, yeah, if you want to get some recliners and maybe like a 62-inch TV and, if we're asking for stuff.
You get these different things, the more information that you keep kicking over here, we'll make this place the Ritz-Carlton.
Well, maybe I can do you one better. Maybe I can sweeten the pot a little bit. But this is going to be particularly juicy for you. They're not all gone. You won't be able to find them, but they're not all gone.
Okay. And how did you come by this information?
Little bit of deduction. Why slaughter everything when you can keep something in reserve? Especially for when you need it most.
Start tapping his finger and his foot.
To glance over at him, and so if Jace won't be able to find them, who can find them?
Honestly, probably no one. At least not yet. To attempt it would be folly. You'd just be joining them, if you're lucky.
I don't think that really sweetened the pot.
No?
That was more like kind of bitter, honestly. You told him something that doesn't give him a false hope. It just...
No, I gave him real hope. How much do you believe in them and how long they can hold out?
I'll be back. I'm gonna get up and go get the pizza.
Skeeter.
Dreams.
You find out where they're at, or give me a brief location. I'm willing to give you things that no one else would even dream about doing.
That's a big ask, Jace, even for me. I can hear
I know.
the heartbeats. I can sense the tremors of the earth. But to go there, to find them, I'm not even sure I could escape that. And I've done some pretty slippery things. I'm not saying no. But this is a big ask. A big one. Possibly impossible.
But you're saying there's still a chance.
There's always a chance. Nothing's impossible completely, but it can come really fucking close. I don't know which one either. A lot of blood was spilled that day, and a lot of heartbeats went quiet, but not all of them. That's all I know.
The heartbeat itself, is it still in the same area that it was? Are you able to tell that? Or has it moved from the location that where the incident happened?
Doesn't quite work that way. It's not like I'm
Of course not.
echolocating or anything like that. I just get a general sense.
All right, well, I don't want you to put yourself in danger for it. Thank you for letting me know. If anything happens to come across, can you just let me know, and then we can kind of go from there.
It's the least I can do. But I thought you should know. Because while there is a possibility of hope that comes along with it, don't forget that that hope can be used against you. Whatever you find, if you find it, might not be what it was.
So you give me all this like really, really good information, and then you go and say shit like that.
I'm a realist, Jace. I have to be. If I had my head in the clouds and not my paws on the ground, I'd be dead, snatched up by birds.
But you don't know which one. Just they're worse. Okay.
Sorry, I can't give you more.
No, it's fine. Just he'll look back towards the door, then like thinking about that go bag, like just tapping his finger. No, what you've this is helpful in its own way. That if there is a possibility of reunion or knowing what happened there, at least there's a witness to be able to give more insight on what happened.
Yeah. But you gotta stay present now. That comes later.
Yeah. I have other things on the burners here.
I'll say.
Yeah. That as far as a means of transportation, he'll look towards the other members. Do you all just like scooter around, or do you guys have like a vehicle or something?
Vehicles are big and clunky, not easy to hide. And it's not as big of a city as you might think. If you know the way to go, you can find a more direct route than roads will take you.
One of the things I like about this place is that everything's interconnected in some shape or form.
Yeah, they even number a bunch of them. It's like reminds me of New York.
Never been.
Ah, for a rat like you, tasty.
How you are able to like sense heartbeats? I'm able to listen to the city. I just have to put my head down and I can hear things going on.
Yeah,
And
so
I'm
it's
thinking
similar.
New York. Yeah. New York, I feel like would be very loud.
Oh yeah, for sure. Takes some practice to really tune out a lot of the noise, but once you're there long enough, it becomes second nature.
Maybe one of these days I'll make my way up.
Yeah, if nothing to visit. There's actually a group of you in Central Park, believe it or not.
Okay. Yeah, I could see it.
I'll walk back in carrying about 10 boxes of pizza.
Several of the others leap up as the pizza enters, but the one that charges towards the front is a more rotund young boy with a bit of a scruff around his chin who pushes his way through and comes up, and you see his nose twitch as he's sniffing the pizza, and he gives like a sheepish look as he grabs one of the boxes and scurries off.
Oh, look, to Skater. What? He was born a rat, wasn't he?
Hey, you're catching on already.
What's the term for that for you guys?
Oh, you know terms. I can't say I've learned them all, but usually, let's see. Usually they're called rodents.
Okay. Well, here you go. Drop it off at the table. Drop the rest of them off at the table. As thanks. You know. Quid pro quo.
Well, we appreciate it. The food here is great, but you can't beat a pizza. He kicks his feet off the table and reaches towards one of the boxes and slides it over, flipping it open.
You know, to look towards Jester, a pizza joint towards the middle of the city wouldn't be a bad idea.
Are you thinking about expanding? Just gonna have a network of, hole in the wall places that people like to come to? It's not a bad idea. No.
There's a bunch of pizza places. And oh, I see what you're doing. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
I'll keep that on the side somewhere. Think about it.
Well, if there's nothing further, we're going to take our pizza to go. We've got to go check in with the boss man, give him the updates on everything.
I'd like to meet him sometime.
You keep being good to us, and I'll see if I can make that happen. But like I said, he's much, much more reclusive than the rest.
On his own terms.
Yeah. He closes the box of pizza and with a slice hanging out of his mouth, stands up. The others have already started viciously tearing apart the boxes, but then seeing Skeeter stand up, they slowly put the pieces back in and shut their boxes and start gathering up to go.
You guys have where are you guys heading out to?
Pizza doesn't
Curiosity.
pay for that.
Okay. Just out. All right.
He then
Later. Great meeting you.
gives a wave, and the small band move towards the back exit, the door pushing open, and then closing behind them, leaving the two of you behind.
So that was them.
Yeah, they're adorable.
They have their moments.
How are you feeling?
Was
That was
good
big
up
news.
until it was good till about the end.
We'll see what we can do to find more.
From what he was saying, it's not even a place he'd be comfortable trying to track them down to.
Yeah, but they're not the only avenues we have. Maybe we can find something else. I mean, knowing we didn't know before, Jace, but knowing, I don't think I could be comfortable with not doing anything.
Won't lie to you, there was a point there I thought about getting up and grabbing my bag. I didn't though, so
There's that.
one, I think he would have stopped me because my bike's up front. So
Probably, because, you know, same issue. We don't even know where they are. We just
Yep.
know a little more than before.
I did just one of them being out there. There is that sense of hope, but now I don't know what they could be going through.
Given the stories I've heard, nothing good. But I'm not going to tell those stories right now. You don't need that.
I appreciate that. Overall, though, they are despite their table manners, they're a good group of kids.
Yeah, I seem about it. I was, you know, a little worried that they might be taking advantage of you or things, but nah. I think they're a good group, and I think you know how to handle them pretty well. So
I just know if I provide these different things for them, one, I know where they're at, and I can keep a closer eye on them. And they remind me of how I acted when I was younger, and I didn't have cool places to hang out or people to be with like that. So providing something like that for them.
same. Yeah, I like them.
Me too. The little side thing I have going on for Skeeter, it's not distracting him from the other things. I just want to get the guy who's running things in the city itself one more thing off of the hit board, for lack of a better term.
I get it. Just trust me. I want him gone very, very much. Just be careful, Jace. He's got the political power, and he's very well versed in wielding it and manipulating things.
Being as careful as I can. I don't think done anything terribly illegal, so I should be all right.
He doesn't care.
From what I've heard, yeah.
Just try to stay under his radar as much as you can.
I'm running through an idea. When I have it completely ironed out, I'll talk to the whole pack about the idea, but we have a bigger fish to fry. But I'm molding something.
Okay.
But thank you for coming and meeting them, though.
Of course. Thanks for introducing me.
Anytime.
So as the two of you spend a little bit more time together, the conversation drifting between topics. This is where we transition to our next scene. Aspen, you have been looking to reconnect with your mentor, Matthias Morningkill, to get an update, maybe get some questions answered. So you head to the luxury hotel where dignitaries and business people of high regard go to stay, a place that Matthias has been taking a semi-permanent residence in, it seems, as of late. So as you arrive at the hotel and take the long elevator ride to the top penthouse, what's going through your mind as you prepare to meet with your mentor?
Well, there's a lot going on, and when there's things that Aspen can't access and things that she needs help with, that he's the first person she goes to. He fixes her problems, which helps a lot in this climate, and she's always nervous, anxious, but also a little bit excited to talk to him because he always at least eases her mind slightly, but she also doesn't want to ever take advantage of him because she respects him so much. But it's hard to not think Matthias will solve my problems.
So as you arrive at the top floor, the elevator doors dinging, you find the small carpeted hallway before the doorway that leads to the apartment. Go ahead and roll a wits and awareness as you approach the door.
Rage 1, I assume?
Rage 1.
That is a 2.
Enough. As you near the doorway, you actually hear two voices speaking inside. One of them, obviously, to be the voice of Matthias, but another one is a female voice. One that you don't recognize, you've never heard before in any context. It's too hard to make out what they're saying as it is muffled through the doorway, but there is definitely another person present in the room.
I am going to just slightly open the door and give like a little knock because I know that he's expecting me.
As you slowly open the door, what you find is the same sitting area by the window, the two chairs and the small cafe table. Matthias is seated in one, and in the other, you find a woman possibly in her mid-20s. She has a tan complexion and very dark, almost brownish raven-colored hair. But in the hair, there are turquoise beads along a particular strand of hair. She is wearing a khaki kind of button-up shirt that is unbuttoned and actually tied at the bottom, holding it together over a midriff tank top and some jeans that go down to some pretty high boots that go up to about mid-calf. As you enter, Matthias looks up with a warm smile, and the woman looks over in your direction, and you can tell from the small crinkles at the corner of her eyes and her mouth that she has a very jovial demeanor about her, that she's constantly smiling or laughing in one degree or another. Matthias says, Aspen, excellent timing as usual. He stands up from his seat and makes his way over to greet you.
I hope I'm not interrupting anything.
No, not at all. I was actually having some introductions with an unexpected guest. Aspen, let me introduce you to Suni. She is one of ours from Arizona. Someone from the nation who is looking to learn a bit about what's going on here.
Oh, wonderful to meet you. She'll reach out her hand for a handshake.
She stands up, and as she extends her hand out, you see also some turquoise beaded bracelet around her wrist. As she gives you a nice firm handshake, you can tell by her hands that they are a little bit weathered in the palms, and you can see that the sun has definitely been strong on her skin over the years. But she gives you a brilliant smile, just the brightest, widest, most genuine smile you've seen. And she makes eye contact with you, her eyes brown with a small golden rim to them, and she says, "It's a pleasure. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to infringe on your meeting, and I'll get out of your way."
Oh, not at all. It's actually wonderful that there's others here stopping by and checking in. If you want to have more of a formal introduction and conversation, I'm open to that, and I'll pull out my cell phone to like pull up my number.
"That'd be lovely," she says as she also pulls out a cell phone, and the two of you exchange numbers. She sends a text with a winky smiley face to give you her number. "I won't take up too much of your time, but it's lovely to meet you, Aspen, and Mr. Morningkill. Thank you for the greeting and the welcome. Very much appreciated." She reaches down and grabs a bag that has some fringe, some tassels hanging off of it that she pulls over her shoulder, and she gives you another beautiful smile before she heads towards the doorway and out.
I smile until the door closes and then turn to Matthias, less smile, but like more inquisitive. What's all that about?
Your guess is as good as mine. She just showed up, introduced herself as is the custom, and we got to chatting. Apparently she is in from Arizona, as she says, and she's heard some of the rumblings about this place and wanted to learn more. I can't say I'm surprised. Over time, as these things progress, it's more likely to draw attention, and whether they're looking for something to make an example of or possibly be inspired by remains to be seen.
Fair enough. I mean, it's only fair to assume that there's eyes on us with everything going on here and the changes we hope to make in the future. I can't say it's a bad thing, but with everything happening right now, it's anxiety inducing.
Well, I can assure you there's nothing to be anxious of. I don't smell the worm on her at all. In fact, she is, as far as I can tell, one of ours. My guess is one of the Silent Striders.
Oh, okay. I meant anxiety inducing with the eyes and hopefully not, well, fucking it up.
You're doing a good job, Aspen. There's really nothing to be concerned with. Just keep focused on what you're doing. You do your job and I'll do mine. I'm still sending out inquiries to other septs looking for any information or possibly resources, but responses are few and far between. It doesn't surprise me someone from Arizona would have caught wind. He then
She seems lovely.
pulls out the chair that she was sitting in for you before heading over to a coffee and tea set that is arranged on a small table nearby. Would you like some coffee or tea?
Coffee, please. Yes.
Of course. He starts prepping the coffee as he knows you like it before bringing 2 cups over and setting one in front of you before sitting and taking up his own cup. So, what would you like to talk about? What can I do for you?
Oh, where to start with all of that? Well, little update for you. I'm hoping to deal with Piney Point in a more legal angle, to try and get them on their back foot. I have ideas, and I'm working with Eyes of the Sea to get it all figured out, but it's in its infancy right now. That's kind of a little bit of what I wanted to talk to you about.
Of course. Well, from the sounds of it, you've got the best help possible in that particular field, and attacks from multiple fronts are always more successful than a single action.
I agree. And I think, I don't know, we've waited long enough, and I fear if we wait much longer, we're going to, well, not succeed.
Understandable. These are rather dire circumstances, and the best thing to do first would be to stop their production, cease the spread, keep it to this location only. At least then we have more control of it. Whereas if it starts to pop up elsewhere, it won't really matter what's done in Piney Point. The damage will have been done.
Exactly. And keeping it all there means that when we find a way to get rid of it all, it won't crop back up after just a bit, and it becomes a cycle.
Yes, yes. Well, what can I answer for you? How can I help?
It's, I need a few favors. I know I ask you for so much, but, just maybe a couple of more.
Please, Aspen, you know that my resources are at your disposal.
Okay. With this whole legal side of things, my idea is to get a petition out there, with harm to the environment and getting all of that, getting signatures and all of those things, while also getting them caught up in legal proceedings with false hazardous waste. And with all of that, I know that there's going to be eyes. It's going to bring up media, and news is going to want to get their hands on that. And I was hoping to kind of stop that in its tracks by getting something of our own to have them out there first. Someone we
Control the
can trust.
narrative.
Correct.
I see. Did you have something particular in mind?
Well, that's partly what I came here for. You knowing a lot more of the ins and outs of connections and all of that. What should I be looking for? I mean, a film crew, maybe a documentary we could get out there. It was something that I was initially thinking of, but I don't know all angles when it comes to media.
Well, there's a few possibilities. One, yes, a film crew, and that is easy enough to find. There are many aspiring documentarians all over this great country, but the schools nearby could be a good place to look. Start with them fresh, give them something to establish themselves with. Young, hungry filmmakers are less likely to have been imposed upon by the forces that be. I'd be happy to take care of that for you, or at least get it started. Secondly, spreading the word of mouth, is the best tool at your disposal. Sure, you could go through some of the media outlets, but even I don't have the resources to combat those that would want to silence a message such as this. But perhaps a fundraiser of sorts among some of the wealthy elite that I have been rubbing elbows with as of late, some of the business owners, corporate executives, those that would love to at least see their name attached to a good work, even if it is only for show.
Good PR and all of that.
Yes. That is how we cease their control of the narrative. Going through typical outlets and the like, it may last for a while, but only a short while. But I think getting as much footage as possible, even if you don't release it ever or for the time being, that's enough to make individuals nervous. Those that prefer to work behind the cover of brands and businesses, they don't want their face recorded by any means, especially if they're up to no good.
Okay, I could work on maybe getting people together, or we could work on getting people together, get some information out there, maybe get some signatures from people of higher station.
You could also see to potentially spreading the message amongst our kind. While they may not be willing to help our efforts overall, I know that you have connections with the Georgia Sept. That's at least a few more names that you could get on the petition. There's enough of these types of efforts constantly going on that people tend to overlook these, or even have gotten to the point of ignoring efforts to better things. So to make sure that you get as many signatures as possible, I wouldn't limit your scope just locally.
Do you think potentially getting in contact with Joseph's Sept would be smart?
Well, if anyone's going to speak to the efforts of the area, I think that is a good choice, and they're not that far away. They are very
Okay.
reclusive, but with Joseph as an inroad, I think it's possible.
Okay, and I can have Anna maybe get some talks in Chicago.
That would be a good resource to have. The Sept of Jupiter is very, very powerful, to say the very least, as well as their voice is heard.
So speaking of these of higher station, these people that you rub elbows with, do any of them happen to be a professor at the university?
Possibly. And if not, I'm sure I could find one. College professor's salary doesn't tend to get them up to that level. However, I know that quite a few of the businesses would have someone like that on their payroll. I think I can make some connections to make that possible.
That would honestly be so helpful. I've been talking to Artie and the others, and maybe having access within the university to help work on the quote unquote cure of it all would be amazing for all of us.
And how are things with Arthur? Last I knew, last we really had a chance to sit down, things weren't necessarily the best.
Well, we are moving. I was hoping that maybe being closer to the cairn itself meant that he had shorter distance in and out, and that way he could go home and rest more, or at least be within internet access. I know that's a comfort of his, but he's not sleeping much, and he's using a lot of caffeine pills, and just he's working himself really hard, which we all are, but it is becoming concerning.
It is a very stressful time for everyone involved. I have faith that he will come out the other side of this, as we all will when this is done. I wouldn't fault him for being dedicated to finding a solution. Don't judge him too critically, is what I mean. But if you are concerned, you should talk to him about it.
Yeah, I want to. I just don't want him to feel like he's being pushed too far or being judged. There's a strange line to walk, right? Support versus concern.
Well, and also, pack leader versus partner.
That as well.
I know you have concerns and probably fears especially considering your history together. But I also believe he's loyal, and he'll at least hear you out. Give him that much. What goes unsaid tends to fester and grow. The situation gets worse. To avoid that, have the conversation, no matter how hard it can be.
I know you're right, and I will.
He has proven that he will always do the right thing. And worst comes to worst, you can drag him kicking and screaming.
It's true. This is what I love about him. Is always trying to do better than the day before and be better for everyone else.
So tell me about the Farah.
Like I said, a lot of things. Well, they just keep popping up, apparently. We have the Mokale that we recently prison broke some gators out of Gatorland for. But the situation has gone from tentative to a working relationship. So I think that's a benefit.
Good. If nothing else, it's better to keep things as calm as possible. While most of the Farah wouldn't even tend to deign to show themselves and prefer to keep their secrecy and stay hidden, others, if given an opportunity to avenge the past, will do so. So if you can satisfy or at least quell their desire for revenge, it's better than nothing.
It's true. And with what we're doing here, I think it's better to be united as all us and the Farah, and I don't know, making those relationships better than they used to be.
Indeed.
There's a bit of an issue with Alexander because of his connection to Bat, but we're working through that. Jester's been a great help with all of the Farah. Also, some of the Ratkin have shown up. We ran into them near Jace's bar, had a conversation with them, and I think they're now staying at Jace's bar. So,
Well, we are in a major city. I can't say I'm surprised that they're present. Be careful with them specifically. They are resourceful. They can have their uses, but they are, as advertised, rats. In all connotations.
I'm not surprised that all of the fair that have been showing up don't have their own agendas in some way or another. So I've been trying to keep an eye, but I trust Jace and Jester to keep what they don't need to know away from them.
Good. You have a capable group with you. I only wish I could provide you greater numbers to assist, but I am trying constantly. We will make them hear us, and we will make them understand. It's just going to take a while. They are often set in their ways. Traditions mean a great deal, and we are certainly questioning a great deal of those traditions.
I'm hoping that seeing our strength through all of this with Piney Point and everything that we've got going on here will bring people our direction, will show that what we're doing is good and that we're not just a bunch of loose pups with ideas of grandeur. But that's all the more reason why we have to succeed on this.
Well, you're showing them. You were given something broken, something meant to mock your efforts, and you've turned it into something capable. You are proving them wrong with your actions and your efforts. Don't get dissuaded. Stay the course. And again, don't worry about anything outside of this place. That's my job. That's my reason for being here, is to be the go-between.
I just put you through all the work, I guess.
Hardly. I find myself sitting around, often wondering that I could be doing more. It's good to have a
Well,
task.
you know, we always need help at the cairn. You could meet Alexander.
I'm not that desperate.
Well,
I prefer my cairns in more structured locations.
you like the view from here better? High up?
There is something to be said for getting a bird's eye view on what goes
Very
on.
Falcon. Very Falcon of you.
Is there anything else I can be helping with?
Yes, I actually did have one more question. It's kind of a two-part question with the same goal. It'll make sense in a second. With the farms and the land that has kind of been disturbed as of recent, it does cause concern for the people around. I was wondering if there was any way we could maybe buy up property that's been destroyed. Maybe give people their dues and they've got nothing left to gain from the land, while also keeping other people out in case it becomes problematic.
It's possible, but buying up a great deal of property would draw a great deal of attention as well. I think that through some of the property firms, we could potentially recycle some of the property if it's possible, but if the parcel owners aren't willing to part with it, that is going to provide some complications no matter how much destruction was done. But I will open negotiations. I have some means to which I can reach out to those parcel owners and possibly even take possession of some of the property that has gone to the city if the occupants are no longer there to claim it.
Okay. And that brings me to my second part, that you might like a little less. I have a plan when it comes to Bateman. They're not my main focus, but I know that inevitably it's not going to be, it's not going to end well between us and them. And
It rarely does.
Right. And right now it's in our benefit to get iron and to deal with this situation without them at our backs. But when it inevitably comes to that, I want to be prepared. I want to be prepared for what I can do. And I was wondering, and she'll slide the list that Bateman gave him of places not to go. I was wondering potentially buying up property around those areas, or those areas specifically, and what we could do around that just to put them a little bit on their heels as well. Have a plan before the plan.
I see where you're going with this, and I think it is a good idea. However, you have been keeping my liaison busy quite a bit lately. I would need to procure his services again if I can ever get him away from your lovely Galliard.
She is lovely, isn't she?
Most certainly. She's good for him and he for her, I believe.
I mean, I think he might really appreciate getting out and doing something different than dealing with well, Alexander and the Hellhounds, the pups, they've actually been doing quite well as of recent. I think they're showing a lot of promise, so he can kind of loosen the reins there. So I think he does have some extra time. Also, getting him out of the cairn, he just checks and double checks the bond and all of his security over and over. And I'm like, how many times do you have to do that to make sure that it's secure and good? Like, I think maybe just a couple of times a day is fine. We don't need to do it on a rotation.
He's doing as he was trained. A training that I have been trying for years to break him of, but it is hard teaching an old dog new tricks. I believe it's the adage.
He's not that old.
What he lacks in years, he makes up for in experience.
No, you are right. He does act like an old man. I agree.
I've tried to show him that there's more than just the fight, but that is a very difficult lesson to learn. Though it does seem like he is spreading his wings.
I think we've learned a lot from him, but I think he's learned a lot from us too.
And he's still treating you well.
Oh, absolutely. He takes all of my jabs with a grain of salt, so I appreciate him greatly.
Good. Well, let him know I'll be calling upon him. I'll start the arrangements to make the property acquisition happen. It will take time without it to draw much notice and probably have to go through a few separate entities before we can truly take ownership of it. But I'll start the process on that. But first things first, the professor and the film crew.
Absolutely. Thank you, Matthias. You're always, well, you're priceless to me.
I hope I can stay that way. As the two of you finish up your coffee and he leads you to the door, saying your goodbyes, you head to the elevator and you take the elevator down to the ground floor. As you're heading out to go climb into Regina to take the ride home, roll me a wits and awareness.
Three.
As you're approaching the car, you hear the woman's voice again. The one from upstairs, Suni, talking with another individual, a man with a very deep and almost gruff, kind of guttural tone to his speech. It's interesting, she says. They're making inroads in a way that I didn't expect. There's a lot to be learned here. I don't see why you're bothering to learn anything, Suni. We know what they are. We know what they do. Don't make the mistakes others have made. Braxton, trust me, it's nothing like that. They're different. Very different. But we should be heading on. We don't need to draw any more suspicion. And as she steps away with the large man following in tow, you see her wave a hand, and in doing so, a portal opens into the Umbra. And she walks in with him following behind, and the portal closes. What's going through your mind after this interaction and the conversation with Matthias?
Well, initially, what was going through her mind is a deep sigh of relief. with Matthias, talking to Matthias, getting encouragement, which she desperately needs in these times. And also someone always to kind of take the work that she can't do and do it with a smile on his face, makes it a little less icky feeling. But she's grateful, she's happy, but she knows there's a lot more work to do. And then walking down and hearing the conversation, it feels strange. It like, what are they talking about? She wants to desperately text them, but she thinks that seems desperate, maybe a little showing her ass in a way. So she's not going to, but that's going to rattle around in her head, that conversation and them going through into the Umbra and what all of that means.
One of the things that stands out to you, actually roll me an intelligence and occult really quick.
Three.
While your time has been limited in the grand scheme of things when it comes to Guru, your exposure to the ritualistic arts, the abilities of Guru, they don't open the way to the Umbra that way. In fact, as far as you know, it's impossible to open a direct portal into the Umbra. How she did it, what she did, is completely confounding, completely confusing, because it's not the way it's done, especially amongst the Guru. And even though you haven't encountered a lot of Silent Striders, those that you have still tend to follow the limitations imposed upon the Guru. But this one didn't, leaving another mystery to be solved. And this is where we take our break. We'll be back in just a few minutes with the second half of tonight's story. Welcome back. In the second half, we find ourselves at a warehouse that is being used as a gun range. There are several paper targets hanging down the range. Some of them have been pulled forward with various bullet holes not quite hitting the mark around the target, whereas there is a second target where all of the bullets seem to have hit the mark on the table. Charles and Jace stand as they often have many, many times in this range, with Charles watching judgmentally over Jace as he squeezes off a few rounds downrange, getting less frustrated than he used to, as more of them are at least hitting the paper than they were before. But as you fire off another round, Charles looks down the range and then nods his head appreciatively. Good. Progress is being made, and if you can hit a target that size, you should be able to hit most large creatures.
Not even so much that, it's when they freaking move out of the way. It's just rude at that point. Like, I kind of see, like, during like the old war, like they'd stand there. I get it. That whole moving around stuff's annoying.
Well, if you can hit them when they're still repeatedly, then we can move to moving targets.
At the gator place, all over the place, just moving, and they just stay still.
That would be ideal, wouldn't it? But it would make our job far too easy.
Yeah, well, I know that you enjoy the challenge, so the faster they move, the harder it is for you. Like, look at your piece of paper. Your hole's like this. I got a loosey-goosey over here like this. I'm hitting all over the edges and stuff.
Don't be too hard on yourself. I had a lot of practice from a very early age.
Yeah. Your very sad childhood.
I wouldn't call it sad. Different, certainly, but it made me what I am, and it allows me to be capable and to ensure the safety of my pack, and hopefully further our goals within the fight.
I will say, I do feel safer when I'm with you. I feel like that if you and I walked around anywhere and I mouthed off to someone, you'll get my back more just out of principle. Like, you might give me some like reprimand after the fact. But I feel like I can go like talk to anyone and then talk the wildest shit, and they try anything, I got you.
That is fair. However, you must know I have started to develop a sense of humor, and seeing you punched by a human would be funny.
Okay, allow like one hit and then you step in?
Of course.
Okay, cool. All right. I can take a hit. I don't like getting hit, but I've been hit a lot, so
I'm not one for excess, Jace. You know that.
fair. No, that's a good point. Your childhood. Now this is gonna be weird. Did you get hit a lot too, and like having to do like the training and stuff? Like, when was the first time like you remember getting punched square in the face?
Well, fortunately, that didn't start until I was maybe 9 years old. Mostly it was training before then, and eventually, when it seemed more appropriate, the actual training began.
I'm assuming you trained with other children. It wasn't like an adult coming over and just like, all right, stand there, and just punched you.
That was at 10.
Oh, you worked up to it. A big jump, but you worked up to it.
It was a very intense process, but it has saved my life many times.
He'll look down range. as far as he'll look down to his gun. I've noticed that when it's one thing if they're moving. When I'm moving, I have the hardest time shooting. But when I'm stationary and I'm fixated on one target, I find that's easy for me to actually like hit that one. Is there a way to capitalize on that, or is that just something that I'm just kind of stuck with?
There are methods that could prove more useful in a stationary position. For instance, a sniper's position can be very useful to those on the ground, as you can see further and more, but you are out of harm's way, and it allows you to stay stationary at least for a while. However, you must be prepared to move, for once they spot your position, their goal will be to remove you.
I like most of what you said. I'm out of harm's way. I can see things. The sniper, that's the big one, right? That's like big bullet, big gun kind of thing.
It tends to be, but even a handgun can be useful in those circumstances, depending on the size of the building. What you're talking about is the high-powered sniper rifles, and those are usually for great distances, 5, 6, even 1,000 yards.
That's a long way. I don't think I can hit anything that far out.
You're getting better. I think that if you continue to practice and with more focus, you could. You get in your own head. You need to take that breath in and hold it. Allow yourself to steady. Your breath becomes more shallow when you're preparing to fire, as if you are desperately clawing for each breath. This causes your hand to shake, your focus to shift. Good, even breathing leading up to the moment to fire. Slowing your heart rate, narrowing your focus, but making sure there's enough oxygen reaching your brain. We may be capable of many things, but we are still living creatures. We do still have the limitations of the living.
Yeah, some of the creatures we fight don't need that.
They do not. That's what makes them especially dangerous.
You know, it's out of almost everyone within the pack, I feel like I spend a lot of time with you, Charles. Like, we've been training for a long time together. But man, I feel like I don't know a whole lot about you. Like, you're so wise and you have like so much to share. But that's really all that I really get from you.
What else do you need?
A pack's about connections and the overall bond that's there. And I'd get your back in anything. I hope you know, like, I might not be as helpful in the physical one, but if spiritually you ever had an issue or anything along those lines, or I could help you, I got you. But I feel like that's just a pack thing. There's not a connection as far as like a friendship, like a deeper connection like I have with the rest of the pack. And I know that you have your walls up and everything and all that, but
Jester has taught me a great deal about letting those walls down, but it is a process. It's not something that I'm used to. I was taught the importance of the pack bond, but I also had to learn that this is a life of loss, sacrifice. Often it is on our own terms, if we're lucky, but sometimes it's not. And more than one guru has fallen to the grips of Hirano or Hoglosk because they were not able to maintain their composure, because they were not able to distance themselves from that sacrifice, from that loss. But this also means connections are fewer and further between. You're not the first one to want that kind of connection. Before, I wouldn't have even considered it. Possibly more for my sake than yours. But those were the old ways. That's what I was taught. I was taught that because there was a belief I would lead. If you have to lead a great many guru, the odds of loss and sacrifice increase. But we have to look to the distance, as the falcon does. We have to see the wide and grand scope. But it's a lonely existence.
A lot of rulers, like your kings, emperors, pharaohs, even if you want to go down those roads, yeah, they led, and a lot of them were great people, but they experienced life. They let people in. And don't look at some of them because they let people get too close and got stabbed in the back. I'm not talking about those people. Your people aren't going to stab you in the back. But you can be a great leader and still have those deep connections with people.
My grandfather is a cautionary tale, Jace, of letting too much in, of taking too much of that burden upon yourself. He is a shadow of the man he once was. He lost too much. He cared too greatly. It has infringed upon his ability to lead, and thus the nation as a whole suffers for it. When I believed that destiny was the only way, I swore to myself that I would never let myself become that way. We all know what's required of us as Guru. There's a reason we were chosen for this. So we have to go into these situations knowing each fight may be our last. And if not ours, the fight of another. But that doesn't mean we stop fighting.
I hear your caution. I do. All right. He'll look to his pistol, reload it. You said Jester's been helping you break down some walls. You didn't get to play a whole lot of games, I'm assuming, as a kid?
Depends on what you define as games, but...
Not to see who can take the hardest hit or climb the wall the fastest while being shot at kind of stuff. I mean, I get to know you kind of game.
Very well. I'll humor you.
So, you're probably going to beat me at this. first, so I will ask a question, and there can be, we'll allow follow up just because curiosity for me. But I'll ask a question. If I make the shot, you must answer truthfully, and that will go back and forth.
So you'll answer truthfully when I make a shot.
Absolutely.
Well, this should be easy enough.
I figured you'd enjoy this. It's something you're good at. It's something I'm learning. I get to learn stuff. We both win. But I want to put a little bit extra on top of it. We'll do first to 7. If I win, if I beat you, I want to watch you sing karaoke with Jester.
In public?
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Wait, you afraid you're going to lose?
I never lose.
Yeah. So there's nothing to lose, right? Like, it probably won't happen.
Give me a charisma and persuasion or manipulation and persuasion.
Raid 1.
Yeah.
That's 4.
His cold, icy blue eyes remain focused on you. Very well.
And if you win, what do you want?
I want more than a promise. I want an oath that you are not going to try and go to Michigan. That you are not going to go running after what you've lost. I'm not saying never, but I know you. I've seen the bag. It is always at the back of your mind. It's my job as your Arun to protect you. I can't do that if you're making it harder for me.
You have a deal.
He nods. And then almost in the blink of an eye, you hear bang, 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 bang. His eyes still focused on you. And then he sets the gun down. The target comes whirring forward. All 7 shots directly in the chest. But I'll play your game. Dreams and decay.
You know, you don't have to show me up like that. He'll grab it and hold up. Like, I have to look at the target because I had not a great childhood, but it wasn't like that. And he'll try and fire, but he's a little shaken now that he just was staring at me the entire time and just fired all rounds down.
Give me a composure and firearms. Okay. This one hits the outline of the target. It's not in any vital location. It's not in, anywhere that would be a kill shot by any means, but it does hit the target. Maybe grazes the arm.
That counts.
It does.
All right. Let's see. I want my first question. What's your favorite color? Make it nice and easy. Warm up.
Blue. Like the color of the sky. But on a clear day. With the sun shining and very few clouds.
so most of the weather here in the summer.
There is an appeal to it, yes.
Okay. You hit all 7 of yours, so whatever your first question is.
What was your favorite moment in your childhood?
Going between all the different homes, I'd take something from each one, but it'd be something small, something they wouldn't actually know was missing. He'll reach into his pocket, pull out a little marble. There's a thimble, and then there's like a rock. These 3 are some of my favorites. The marble, it's like a deep green, almost emerald. It's got a big old crack in it. This one I got from my second home. One of the kids there taught me how to play marbles, but I got caught sneaking out, so they sent me to a different home, but I kept this one. He'll pull out the thimble. This one, old lady, but she didn't really have a whole lot of money, so I don't know how she had a household of 4 people. But she taught me kind of how to sew really bad. Like her hands were very shaky, but fond memory. And he'll pull out the rock. It's a little piece of granite. The driveway to this house, this was actually the last house that I was at. They had this really nice, like white rocked overall driveway. Except for this one, it's got a little bit of black. Is an imperfection within the this perfect home that these people were trying to give off. But I learned a lot from there. But collecting the different things from the houses.
So theft and collecting refuse. There is no question as to your tribe. He actually gives the smallest smile.
Yeah, and you like the blue skies to fly in. Got it. Fucking falcon bitch. He'll go and fire off another one.
Composure and firearms.
One.
This time it misses the outline of the target, just hitting the paper still, but not hitting any of the target itself.
I did say hit. No. All right, fine. Here's second one.
He looks downrange, then looks at you for a moment. You hit the paper. I'll count it. As your teacher, I believe I can alter the rules as I see fit.
I'm not going to question it. Okay. What's your body count? Now, I don't mean people you've killed. I do mean people that you've been intimate with. Because I feel like your body count one that's going to be stupid high. So I needed to clarify.
Are you asking how many individuals I've had sexual relations with?
Yeah, it's guy talk. That's a normal thing.
Present company included 3.
To be honest, I thought it'd be higher. You're a very attractive person.
I didn't allow myself distractions.
Other than 3 of them.
This last one is particularly distracting.
She can do that.
Yes, she can.
I have so many other questions, but those... Go ahead.
What was your favorite birthday?
probably when I turned my 21st. At the time, we just gotten the bar up and going, and had really things had really gotten into the flow. And the pack told me that there was an issue outside of town, that just outside of Columbus, that I had to go look at. They needed some information on it. I went out to this area. I looked, I scoured, I was out there for hours. Sludgefist, he was our leader. He swore that this place had some type of corruption. There was something festering there, but I couldn't find it. Nothing. So I went back to the cairn, and some of the people there had told me that they were waiting for me back at the bar. I'm like, all right. So I go there, and they threw a huge surprise party for me. There were people from the cairn there. There were people from the soup kitchen that were there. It was just all the people that I kind of held dear that were all in one place. And it was just a fun night. We got to, oddly enough, we played a lot of darts, but as of late, I believe that's more of an Ohio thing overall. But it was a good birthday. It was that'd probably be my favorite one.
I think I would struggle with a surprise party. I'd have to increase the other body count accidentally.
I will, if that comes up, I'll be sure to pass something in your pocket as you're getting closer, but just to let you know, and don't shoot anybody. Just, I know your reaction time is that as soon as lights come on, guns out, and there's bodies on the ground.
Luckily, I've attuned my senses to be able to tell who is within a room, at least from outside the door, but can't say I've found myself startled much in my life. Very well. It's your shot.
Okay.
Jace.
4. Yeah.
Oops, yeah. Yep. You hit the chest region of the target. Even Charles, his eyebrows lift just millimeters. But then he looks to you. Well done.
I'm just shocked that it was that good. I haven't hit the towards the center yet.
You weren't thinking about shooting. You were thinking about your next question.
Hey, Charles, get out of my head. But yes, I do have a follow-up. Did you celebrate any of your birthdays?
No.
None. The entire time it came up, nothing.
I don't even know the day, Jace. It's not important in the grand scheme of things.
The fuck it isn't. You have all the people that you care about in one place. You get cake, ice cream, pie, whatever you want. And you get to do basically whatever you want because it's your birthday and no one can be mad at you. There's a whole song about crying on your birthday because it's yours and it doesn't matter. You can do whatever you want.
Age is but a number.
Yeah, but the amount of celebrations that you have in one life is also a number that matters a lot.
We celebrate our victories. Those are earned. Survival for a rotation of the Earth around the sun. That's not an accomplishment.
All right. Why don't you celebrate a day of all the accomplishments you've done on one day? You can reminisce about all the things you did in that 1 year on a certain day.
Are you trying to coax me into having a birthday?
Kinda. Is it working?
No.
I'm gonna plan you a surprise party, but I'm going to make sure you're disarmed.
I'm never
I don't know
disarmed, Jace.
I'm gonna have a lack of weaponry on you that day. I'm gonna have you do a spa day. We're gonna get a mani and pedi, get your hair done. It's gonna be great. And have all these people jump out, get an actual slight startle. If I can get your shoulders to raise a little bit, I'm gonna call it a win.
He flexes his fingers a few times. Some weapons can't be removed, but I appreciate the sentiment, and we'll see. Just as bad as Jester.
It would, yeah, but I feel like she's a little bit more. I feel like she could be really sassy about the question. Like, no, you will tell me what's going on. Where I'll beat around the bush a little bit.
My turn.
It is.
What is your greatest accomplishment in a non-guru fashion before you were guru?
I wouldn't really call it an accomplishment. It's more of something that needed to be done. Actually, it was on my 18th birthday. I put away, or I assisted to put away a little gang that was running around robbing pawn shops, and I ran with them for a little bit. Actually, I was the one that would sneak into places, grab things. But there was a day when they went a little too far. The little mom and pop soup kitchen that had taken care of me, the couple that owned it helped me out when I was a kid. They got me my first bike. They went in and they held up the place, guns out, started shooting, shouting, and they were about to start shooting people, and I got them to turn their attention to me, and they took me out into the street and beat the shit out of me. But the one inside was hurt. They dislocated my knee that night, but a few days afterwards went to the police and told them everything that had been going on.
He considers your words for a few moments. It takes a great deal of bravery.
It needed to be done. Is either shoot the place up and kill the innocent or turn their attention to me. I'm one person compared to the 50 that were there.
It doesn't make it easier. You had to choose loyalty to innocence over loyalty to friends, possibly even family.
Life's full of hard choices.
It is. You made the right choice. There are certain things that we do that follow us. You know this. Certain choices we can't take back. Those require sacrifice.
Yeah. Part of that is Bryce. He was the leader of them all. He swore that I will pay for what I've done. So, but little does he know that what I am now, and I have a big, scary Charles who can rip his head off, so.
I would. I will always defend those that make the right choice.
It's one of the things I like about you. He'll grab his pistol again and fire back downrange. Another 2.
Again, skimming the target, but hitting the outline versus outside of it.
If you could have one day where you're not Guru, you're just Charles, what would that day consist of? Like, what would be that day?
I won't think about a hypothetical I can't have. That makes this fight that much harder.
All right. If we had a day off, then let's say you didn't have to do anything. We had enough Guru here to handle everything going on. Aspen straight up tells you, Charles, you have the day off. Go do something that isn't this. What is it?
Would likely be this. Here with you. And watching Jester sing. And
Okay.
bickering with Aspen. I don't want a different life, Jace. This life has brought me many things, great things. And to dwell on anything else is to disgrace what I have. And I am very lucky.
Can I do an insight?
Yeah. What's an insight?
Four.
There is a lot of confidence in what he says. A lot of belief. But a small corner of what he says is forced. As if he's had to say it in his own mind over and over and over again. As if he's been practicing it. As if he's been trying to force it to be true. But there is that small little bit of doubt. And it would be hard to pick out, but you managed to find it.
He'll look at him up and down. All right, I'll take rehearsed answers as well then. That's fine.
I am still human, Jace. In a small part. And of course, there's something appealing to normalcy, but it's not for me. Or you. Or any of us.
No, we can't have a normal life, but to deny yourself the pleasures of life just for the possibility. I feel like you walk down the street and if you saw something, whether it be on a billboard or in a store or someone had something and you wanted something similar, you would have the slightest eye twitch, but you would tell yourself, hey, you don't need that. There's a fight happening. You need to focus up and stay on the mission. You're allowed to look. You can risk that 0.02 seconds to look somewhere else and have a thought. You're not losing your focus, especially you. You're so driven on everything, but you're denying yourself the things in life.
Does this suit look like someone who denies themselves?
You don't want to know my thoughts on your suit. It's very prim and proper, and you look like a pretty Barbie. I'm very happy for you.
You hear a small growl in the base of his throat, but he quickly stuffs it down. If I had a choice, I would rather give that opportunity to others before myself. I would rather ensure that you, or Jester, or Aspen, didn't have to fight this fight. But this is what I was made for, Jace. This is what I'm supposed to do. And try as I might, others like yourself somehow force your way in and give me something that I never knew I wanted. And to be honest, it's one of the only things that scares me.
The wiser rune that told me when I got here that it's okay to be scared, but it's what you do with it that dictates the outcome of the fight.
Fights are some of the only places I'm the most comfortable because I'm not scared. This is
So
different.
you say that. I hear you, Charles. I do. I just want more for you. I see someone who wants more but isn't giving it to himself. And I get what you're saying about letting others have it. I just told you the story of I put myself out in the way so others could have something. I get it. I truly do. I just want you to enjoy additional things.
I do. I enjoy those things I just stated. But I also enjoy seeing that look in your eye with that shot you just took. I enjoy the look on Jester's face when she has put a sticker on another of my glasses. I enjoy the pride in Aspen's face when she's done something that she believes is necessary and right. When a plan has worked out, or she's defeated something in herself that she's been combating with. I do have those moments. And honestly, There are moments I wouldn't have if I wasn't a guru. Not the same.
You're right. 100%. So she puts stickers on your glasses?
More often than I'd like.
That's gotta drive you nuts.
I might as well invest in a kitchenware company with the amount of glasses I've had to replace. I started with one because that's all I needed. Now I have a stocked kitchen full of silverware and plates and cups. Most of them
You had
hers.
You had a cup?
What else do you need?
Well, okay, when you're done with it though,
Wash
Doesn't
it, you
sink
put it
in.
away.
or you put in the sink, put it in the dishwasher until the next time, and when that's full, then you have one fork, one knife, one spoon.
Plate, one bowl. Yes.
Okay, did you have a knife for butter particularly, and it was labeled butter knife, and then you had another one for spreading jam?
I know it seems like I lack extravagance, but I do enjoy the kitchen, and I have all the tools necessary.
Okay, all right. It is your question though.
What would it take for you to betray this fight? And don't tell me nothing.
Oh, it's not nothing. I got close when hearing the news about what happened about abandoning this place. But I do have a connection here. In order for me to leave the fight here, it'd have to be a judgment call that I just don't agree with. Something drastic that I couldn't even change the mind of the people making the decision, and my voice wouldn't be heard, and the warnings I'd give about things going on. Something along those lines would probably push me over the edge.
Lucky for all of us, Aspen isn't that leader.
I had my thoughts when coming here, but no, she has been the biggest screwball that I've ever seen in my life. And I don't mean that like in a quirky, funny way. Like, I don't understand her at all.
Neither do I. She often goes
That's-
against everything Falcon teaches. But it always ends up for the best.
I don't know if it's so much she goes against it. I think she interprets it differently, especially with dealing with like the spiritual side of Falcon. His words that are given off, it's not a single path that he's paving for you. Walk this. He's giving you the overall broad spectrum of the vision that he's seeing, and he's wanting you to carve it out, but just use the interpretation that you have. I think that's what Aspen's doing. She has a vision that has been given, and Falcon's just providing the overall what to see. I just think a lot of you guys try to make the path easy for everyone else, but not everyone sees the same. And that's why there's so many headbutts at moots between you all.
You have been spending far too much time with Eliza.
I enjoy her company.
I'm finding that to be a common theme.
I believe 2 more.
More.
Can I burn a will?
Yeah, of course.
Goose egg, 0, none.
It misses the target entirely. That's unfortunate. I was actually having to consider what song we would sing.
You know, I'll still make it happen. I just gotta talk to Jester.
Many have tried. None have succeeded. But that does mean I get to ask you a question.
It does.
What would you be doing in your ideal scenario if you had not had your change? And I do mean ideal.
Charles, I love running a bar. I really do. Being a bar owner is, I can't really explain it. There's a lot of stress that comes with it, with the overall job, and there's documentation and paperwork and make sure that you have overhead and all that. I fucking love it. So if this didn't happen, whether it be working in a bar or owning one, or just some type of service, like, and it's the interactions that I have with all these people, all different kinds of walks of life that come in, and I get to hear their story. I get to hear their sorrows, their woes, the enjoyment that they had. And there's times where people come in and they just want the wisdom of the the humble barkeep to just listen to the story and just give little tiny tidbits on how to improve their life. Just a voice that can be heard.
They come to you for this. He says with the same
fair,
smile.
To be fair, the walks of life that come through, they see a guy like me and I own the building that they're in.
Oh yes, I've seen your bar. You must enjoy cleaning up bodily fluids.
I don't like that, but it does come with the job. Kind of need to get a maid service, but every time I show the place, either the price goes way too high or they just walk out.
Your last shot, Jace. Make it count.
Yeah, not to add nerves to it at all. Thanks, Charles. Four with a crit.
Again, it hits the chest in the kill zone. Well.
You know, 6 for 7's not bad.
Better than I expected from you.
Go fuck yourself. Okay. Why don't I ever see you really interacting with spirits?
Because spirits want us to believe their way is the only way. Spirits took a friend from me. One of my first. Spirits have told me that I'm destined to do something that I don't want to do. If I put stock into spirits, I lose control of my own destiny. I don't want to hear what they have to say because they make it true. That loss of control, that inability to determine my own destiny, to determine that I'm not able to protect those that need protecting. We have Guru for that, like yourself.
I interpret what they give the best that I can, and I understand what you're saying. There are times where they will give a grand prophecy of things that are going to come, and the insight that spirits can give can be very beneficial. They can give so much to aid you in the fight that we're in. They could cool it with the prophecies of death or loss or of mourning, things like that. But sometimes it's not always just what they're talking about as far as death. Sometimes it's the death of something good so new life can come up from it. Now, in the case of your friend, I'm not saying that was the case. I'm sure that whatever was given for that had its reasons for it.
I can't say certainly that the outcome wouldn't have been the same had he not been told how it would end. Had he not been forced to choose. But with that knowledge, there is no doubt in my mind that his intentions, his actions, and his abilities were altered because of it. That it was a foregone conclusion that it had to end a certain way. And that being said, made it that way. Caused him to go that way. We are warriors of Gaia, not warriors of the spirits, not warriors of the impressions of times gone by. They may be Gaia's manifestations, but they are not Gaia herself.
One of these days, I'm going to have you talk with one of the kinder spirits. No prophecies, nothing of grandeur. Just chat. Sometimes it's all the spirits want to do. There is 3 things living inside you. And that's something I got to deal with too. I deny 1/3 of myself constantly just because it's not really my thing. But to deny one part of yourself like that can set you up for a weak point.
Because I'm such a dazzling conversationalist.
You know, there are some spirits that I really think would just like to sit there and stare at you. That's it.
I believe that is more likely than seeing me sing. But only a little.
I'm going to get you to sing. It may not be this time, but it's going to happen.
I enjoy a challenge.
I know. But it's your last question, sir.
Who do you care for the most in this sept?
It's relatively easy. It's the person I spend a lot of time. Eliza. She's been the best. She's been helpful through every aspect that I've gone through. And nothing against the rest of you. You all have been very helpful. But it just a theurge to theurge. She's able to give me the deeper understanding of this place. And the fact that she's been here for so long. She and that lady has so many secrets, man. Like so many freaking secrets. I can't not be with her because she just gives little bits of it. And it's like a drug that I just can't shake.
He nods slowly. Don't forget, she is no more or less a guru than you. Which means she is bound to the same fate we all are.
Yeah.
She's already living as a contradiction to what we are. But there are certain things in this life that are unavoidable. Be sure that you're ready for it when the time comes, or else you risk exactly what I've been avoiding my entire life.
Yeah, but you got people in your corner to help you through it if something were to come up. Just like with what happened up in Michigan, I have you guys. If you were alone, you'd have to deal with all of that by yourself. And that's when it gets dangerous.
Agreed. He takes your pistol. I don't know when the last time you cleaned this was, but let me show you.
Ah, shit. Yeah. I think the last time it was cleaned, the last time you gave it to me. So
that is a problem. And with one hand, you see his fingers manipulate the pistol until it just pops into several pieces that he places down on the table. Let us begin. And with that, we transition into our final scene of the evening. Aspen and Jester. This introduction has been a long time coming. Maybe with excitement for one and dread for the other, or at least bemusement for one and dread for the other. But there are questions that need asking, solutions that maybe only they can provide. And so you make the hour-and-a-half long journey up the highway and off the back roads until you find yourself at an RV campground. One that you haven't been to in a while, but it's the same familiar place from each previous visit that you've had, Aspen. Except this time, the campground is getting a lot more crowded as more and more individuals find their way south for the winter. But as you drive the Jeep towards the back corner, the lit up chili pepper lights hanging off the awning of the RV, you prepare for your introduction of Jester to Spud. The scene is yours for a few moments before approaching the RV.
Aspen will pet the steering wheel and give it a pat on the dashboard and look over to Jester. Anything you want to know before we go into, well, the chaos?
How much chaos is it going to be?
I guess not so much chaos, more eccentricity.
Okay.
He's pretty well-mannered. Again, eccentric, but, you know, as long as you don't come in like a raging
Angrily-
bull. Yeah, like
Angrily
Jace did.
snarling beast.
Mhm.
Well, you know, I think you said Jace left an angry, like, yeah. I'll be nice. You said that he's not bad. Aiden didn't seem to have much of a problem with him, except he wanted to eat the raccoon. Lucas liked him, so I will give it a chance.
Okay. Well, yeah, don't be surprised by the raccoon. And sometimes it smells awful. So just an FYI.
Cool.
So as you climb out of the Jeep, giving Regina one final pat on the door before approaching the RV, as you get within probably 10 steps, the door flings open and Spud sticks his head out with the same crocheted wizard's hat and poncho that he's known for wearing. Dinner! Oh. Hi, Aspen. Come on in.
Am I interrupting dinner?
I was expecting a, farm boy in a pickup truck with a delivery, but it's fine.
Well, I do have a delivery, and she'll go get a bag out of the Jeep. That kind of comes in almost like a beach bag, like a bigger bag. And she'll like put it over her shoulder as she walks into the RV.
As you enter into the RV, you find that the stench is more bearable. It looks like he isn't working on anything currently, so there's no bubbling beakers or anything, but there is this kind of stench that clings to every bit of fabric, and there's a little bit of yellowing over the windows of the RV from where it's kind of clung to the RV, although most of the RV windows are covered with a blackout paint. There's still that film that comes clinging to the sides. He steps inside and walks over to a rolling stool with caster wheels on it and pops down before sliding himself closer to both of you and gesturing to the sofa that is laid out on the opposite wall from the door. So what can I do for you?
Well, first of all, this is Jester. Jester, this is Spud.
Hi.
Jester? That's your name?
Malicious Jester.
Ooh, malicious. I just like the Jester part, but the malicious kind of puts a little on edge. But hey, who am I to speak? My name's Spud. Have a seat.
That's why I'm usually called Jester.
Are you
Sit
feeling
down.
particularly malicious today?
I'll look around and then look at him. Depends.
Ooh. Well, what'd you bring me?
I brought you some shinies, and she'll hand over the bag, and it is filled with a bit of iron.
Oh, this is very nice. I assume you want me to do something with this.
Preferably, yes. We know that it affects the plants.
Okay. Yeah, I'd heard something about the iron being a necessity. Well, I mean, I'm not a smith or anything. I don't have a forge. Like, what would you have me do?
I'll look over to Jester, look back at him. We need it to distribute over a great area. And I know with your inkling for chemistry, maybe there's something you could help with that.
You're thinking like what, like a fogger or some sort of adhesive, or like a almost like one of those bug spray containers? Like what kind of area are we talking about here?
So the problem is that we can't have the iron. One, it's a powder form that the distribution probably needs to be. It can't be like very big chunks because we are looking like a wide area. Bug spray doesn't really work because like it adds a liquid which adds a chemical effect, and the iron needs to stay relatively pure for it to work. I'll take out the stacks of papers that already printed out. We did try these little cloth balls that like people throw like colored powder at each other, but that wasn't strong enough.
Well, yeah, it's not going to adhere. It'll just dust and dissipate and not nearly have a concentrated effect.
Yeah, and the problem is getting it to adhere without changing its composition too much, because if it changes too much, it doesn't work. It doesn't do what we need it to do on the plants.
He rolls his stool back over to his counter where he has a mess of papers, and he just picks up one of the papers and a pen and starts scribbling some things down. Okay, so you need something that's not going to change the composition of the iron, which means we can't have heat, because if it needs to maintain its cold iron status, it can't be melted or... Okay.
We've had a few ideas. I'll open the papers up and slide them over, along with others. Like they have these stupid little like powder cannons for I guess the dumb gender reveals for birth parties. Like they have a whole bunch of stuff. I saw an extinguisher that they use for those.
Yeah, those humans. What are they going to think up next? As he's busy scribbling, you see that further down the counter, there's something that looks like the size of a small fish tank that has a drape over it, like a cloth over it. And as he's scribbling, you hear something thud against the glass of the fish tank, and then make like a scraping, almost like nails on a chalkboard sound. He says, "Hey, quiet you!" And he grabs a little wand and with a little like taser at the end and stuffs it in, and you hear a bzz bzz. He takes it out and sets it down.
Are you
Okay.
torturing an animal?
No, animals are some of my friends. No.
Okay.
He pulls the drape down, and you see like 2/3 of an arm that is now currently twitching in the aquarium. Some friends of yours brought me a specimen, and I've been learning a great deal about the effects these plants seem to have on bloodsuckers. So it's very interesting in all things considered, but the it gets squirrely from time to time. Came from a pretty strong one.
What have you learned?
Well, it alters the composition of the blood. However, it alters it in a way that requires a great deal of blood. It burns through blood faster than we normally do, than leeches normally do. So they need more of it. So from what I can tell, the reason for the spread of the infection by this particular leech isn't due to any evil scheme or plot. It's just a matter of they need to keep feeding, and in doing so are spreading the infection, which is creating more of the fungal creatures that you're running into. The downside being that if this does get into the kindred mainframe, so to speak, you're going to have a lot of ravenously hungry kindred on your hands, and that would be very bad for all of us.
Good to
I've
know.
actually had to feed this thing a few times to keep it from starving and becoming useless to me.
Feed the hand.
It sounds weirder than it is. It's more just like an injection of blood into its arm.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, if it goes long enough without being fed, it starts to kind of dry up and flake and wither, which probably would be a good thing. But if I'm going to learn anything more about it, I need to keep it alive. All things considered.
And you have enough of a supply to do that? Yes?
Well, that's what I was hoping for, was more of it, but my delivery is being delayed, it seems, by a crisis of conscience.
Who's delivering things for you?
Well, we can't have that now, can we?
Well, you already mentioned a big, cowboy? I can't remember exactly how you said it.
Farm
in a
boy.
truck? Farm boy in a truck?
Yeah. And that's probably more than I should have said.
Okay.
Unless you're willing to deliver some.
How much do you need?
Well, I mean, however much you can get. Because, you know, a guy's got to eat as well. And I don't think I want to start feeding from the local stock.
Well, if you could figure this out for us, then we do owe you a big favor.
Okay. Well, I have an idea. It is interesting at best, but one of my philosophies is glue. An adhesive. It doesn't need to be heated up. In fact, what it needs is to be watered down to a certain degree. And even put into, you know, some sort of rolling mechanism, almost like a cement mixer, will keep it in its liquid composition without letting it cling for too long or dry for too long. If you mix in the iron with the glue and you keep it tumbling, the tumbling itself isn't enough momentum to heat it. It's just enough to mix it and keep it mixing. You'd need to have a precise mixture of water to adhesive to iron to make sure that it's not too much of one or another. But if you can shave it into fine enough bits, you can probably get a good dose of iron per glue ratio to the point that you could create a projectile of sorts, almost like a paintball, that when it hits the target, it will break the outer coating, but keep the gooey center, as it were. And then wherever it hits, it's not going to dust, it's going to cling.
Okay. How do we make that happen on a larger scale?
Well, you make bigger balls, but also, what I'm trying to toy with here is how to make sure that the fluid inside doesn't dry too quickly, what kind of momentum you need to keep that up, or if there's another chemical composition you need to include in there. But as far as a wide scale thing, if you're not looking to get glue everywhere, you're potentially running into a problem there. I'm guessing because we're talking plants here, you're looking to, I don't know, go all Greenpeace on the world and like try and purge every little bit of forest and field around here of these plants.
I believe you were the one that mentioned or brought it to our attention that they grow back if they're not completely removed.
You are absolutely correct about that. I'm glad to hear the word of Spud is spreading. So, I think with some time, I might be able to come up with a non-toxic spray. One that could be put potentially into a canister. It would need to be pumped to make sure that it got, you know, the air in there to stir it up enough that it will spray out of the nozzle or the hose. But if it's a non-toxic composition, it should only have the iron and possibly a residual chemical that would evaporate or decay without any too much lasting damage, almost like a pesticide or herbicide, but not as toxic, hopefully. But I'd have to experiment with a variety of the more ethical pesticides and herbicides to see what I can do, if the iron will stick to it or if the chemicals of that pesticide or herbicide will degrade the iron.
Interesting. Okay. Are there chemicals that you're needing specifically? Because I might be in contact with someone from the university that maybe could make that easier and less, have less eyes on you as if you're making pipe bombs or something of the nature.
Oh, if you can get stuff from an actual laboratory, I can provide you a very comprehensive list, as well as potentially a few extras I might need for other projects. But if you are able to fulfill the entire list, that would save me a trip to Lowe's. And there's not a Lowe's near here. I've checked. I usually have to go closer to the city, which I do not like doing.
Why not?
Probably the same reason you can't.
But you're not us.
No, I'm not, but I'm not them either. You gotta understand, us diet vamps, we're looked down upon. It's kind of like, being considered a half-breed or, you know, less than worthwhile. And so when we're not useful, they'd prefer to rid themselves of us. Apparently, we're heralds of the apocalypse, but, you know, maybe that's true. I don't know if you've seen the political climate as of late, but, you know, who's to say one way or another? But I don't think I'm apocalyptic in any nature. But the more old-fashioned ones seem to be stuck on some sort of belief that we are. When the blood gets too thin, blah, 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 blah.
Well, at least your people and our people have the whole apocalypse thing in common.
I guess so. Ours has a funny, you know, hoity-toity name, but it's all the same when it comes out of the wash. Anyway, I'm not sure there is a fogger solution, which would be ideal, but anything to create an aerated mist would require heat, and I'm not sure that there is a reasonable level of heat that wouldn't distort the iron, allowing it to create a gaseous form. But maybe he actually ends up sliding over to a refrigerator that he pops open, a little mini fridge that's underneath the counter. He pops it open. He grabs some tongs off of the counter and reaches down in and clamps a small container that he pulls out and puts on top of the counter that has the fog of dry ice coming over the side. maybe it doesn't have to be a cloud. Maybe it just has to drift close to the ground. Because dry ice isn't technically heat, so he goes over to the bag that you've brought, reaches in, pulling out a small chunk, and then slides back over to the dry ice and starts shaving with a file some of the dry ice, or some of the iron into the dry ice. Okay. Need to be a finer powder than that. You know what? This can wait. And he sets the file and the chunk of iron down before wheeling himself back over. You have provided me quite a puzzle, and I happen to like puzzles. But it's not free. When I give you that list, I want everything on the list.
But you're having so much fun.
Yeah, I'm having so much fun. I'm not an idiot. I have fun doing drugs, but I also have to deal them too.
Do you?
I don't exactly keep the hours that are comfortable for most employers. Plus, I don't know if you've seen the job economy lately, but it's not exactly ripe for kinds like me.
You seem to be a chemical genius. Work from home has gotten a lot bigger. You could actually do things more to help people and help the environment than actually just getting them addicted onto something that will eventually kill them.
Ugh, you sound like them. It's not gonna kill you. You're basically some kind of crazy regenerating nut thing. Plus, I usually try to deal exclusively to, the other side.
Technically, if we're speaking on that technicality, it will kill us because addiction brings banes and banes can kill us. So therefore,
Or worse.
it can.
Well, tell those Banes or whatever that you're only an addict if you go to meetings.
That is such bullshit. Utter bullshit. That's
All
why
right,
addicts
all right.
continue to-
Hot button topic. Sorry. Well,
Either way, we're here to figure out the iron situation, and that's what's most important right now. We'll leave the drug discussion for another time, but whatever you need on the list, I can get it.
okay. And I will do you one better to say that everything that I put on that list will not harm a person.
Good to know.
Will not be used for your drugs.
Fine. Won't be used for drugs.
You tend to do this a lot where we make a deal and then you say, I did not say that thing, or you're not going to use it for drugs because I'm not going to be an enabler. I'm not telling you not to do the things. I'm getting you your supply. Just don't use it for drugs.
Okay. Fine. It will not be used for drugs as you and most people define them. Some people could say the things that I have to do for me are drugs, but they're not. They're actually alchemical concoctions.
And the drugs you're obviously not giving to Delphine, correct?
I am not giving drugs to Delphine, no. That
Okay.
deal's already been struck.
But
Or
this
is
will
in the
not.
process.
This list will not be used for drugs you're not giving to Delphine, correct?
This list, oh no. It's, no, she couldn't handle this.
Okay.
The stuff I make is for the types that don't breathe. The stuff on the list. So if you're worried about it killing somebody, you're too late. They're already dead.
How does it affect them?
Surprisingly well. It can mimic. It works.
Okay. Does it harm them if used in excess?
No, because kind of like the arm, it burns off over time. And excess doesn't give you any extra effect. You need a certain amount, and that's the useful amount, and then anything beyond that is just kind of wasted.
Could you make something that, given in excess, could cause harm?
I mean, I could do that with cyanide. I don't even have to do any work.
Well, I mean, in blood. Because I know you all have an affinity for ingesting your blood, and that's what you use. So, do you have something that we could...
Are you
Potentially.
asking me to kill a vampire?
No, of course not. I'm asking if you know how to put something in blood that would kill a vampire. I would never ask you to kill a vampire.
I mean, you could. I don't care about them any more than I care about, most people. But, fine. Theoretically, yes, there are concoctions I could make that could be harmful to vampires.
Are they just concoctions that you make? Or could they potentially be made by just any Joe Schmo?
They're concoctions only I can make.
Interesting. Okay.
No, actually, that is true. Others have tried to replicate the things that we can do, and unless they are like us with the right amount of knowledge, they cannot. It usually ends up being a complete clusterfuck. And maybe even more harmful to the one trying to make it than the intended target.
So you're saying diet vampires are good at potions class?
Some. There's also some that are just dumb morons wandering around, but, the good ones, the sexy ones, yeah.
Okay. Good to know.
Another question. Could you make it and then put it into blood, or do you need the blood?
I need the
to
blood,
make
too.
it?
Most of my concoctions require a certain amount of blood, a certain type, too.
Is that going to be on your list too?
Well, I thought I was going to get a supply of blood regardless if I did this iron stuff for you, but it's harder to do that way. It's not the same type of blood that you see it, like A positive or B negative or anything like that. Like, it's got to come from a certain je ne sais quoi, a certain attitude, a certain state of being.
So it was like those blood bags we gave you before that had little symbols on them.
Yeah. We
Those
call
little
it
symbols.
resonance.
Okay.
Now, some of the bags that you had in symbols were from certain types of people with certain qualifiers, which is also good because it's not going into the hands of the people who need it, or the, vampires that need it. But, yeah, I mean, it's one of a variety of... The blood is actually very complex, I've found in my study. It goes it's a spectrum out there of... feelings and genetics, and it's actually quite interesting.
Super interesting.
You don't sound very interested.
I'm absolutely interested. In fact, if hungry enough, do you only have to eat certain resonance, or if any will do?
Depends on the vampire.
So some only strictly eat this resonance one type.
Some only strictly eat certain types of blood. The preferred resonances, that isn't as important to most vampires. They like a certain resonance because it unlocks certain abilities within their blood, or opens up certain pathways. But resonance isn't as important as a whole for most. In fact, most, it just needs to be fresh and living. But for certain types of vampires, they need it from a certain source with certain qualifiers.
But if hungry enough, say.
Oh, hungry enough, they'll take whatever they can get, usually.
Okay.
Y'all sound very diverse.
It's actually very diverse. Yeah, it's a pretty vast community.
Is it easy to tell, like, one from another, or is it?
When you know to look for the signs, although over the ages, those signs have become more blurred as, I guess intermingling between the clans has happened. There's been some sharing happening that didn't used to be a thing. Usually it was like strictly clan by clan. They kept themselves separate, but now there's a little bit more intermingling happening. But there are certain, touchstones, so to speak, of the individual clans that you can look out for.
Okay.
So I'll definitely get you everything on this list, but I did have a couple of other questions.
Sure.
What do you know about sigils for protection?
I mean wards.
Right.
Oh, mama. That is not something I can do. I'm just going to be flat out about it. It is a mixture of, from what I can tell, magic and blood magic. As far as I know, magic can do it, but when the magicians became vampires, they didn't have the ability to do the magic as they used to, so they had to kind of come up with something of their own using blood to mimic the effects of what they were capable of before. It's kind of like double dipping in immortality and magic at the same time. It's a very safeguarded art. It's hard to... They keep their secrets, which is very obnoxious for someone like me because I'd love to know.
So you don't know a way of getting rid of wards?
Well, usually it would be destroying whatever the thing is that's warded, like disrupting the sigil in some capacity. But there's also some that it really doesn't matter what you do, and getting close enough would be the task to begin with. So, for example, if it was a ward against werewolves, getting close enough to it to do anything to it would be very difficult. But if it was a ward against something else, you could potentially disrupt the warded area and therefore remove the capabilities of the ward. But finding it is often more difficult than anything, because these wards are usually made with blood, and the blood doesn't have to remain, so to speak.
So these wards, can you have a ward that protects against multiple things, or is it like...
It's usually multiple wards.
Okay.
But I don't know. It's kind of one of those things that, again, safeguarded secrets. I wouldn't put it past them to have something that can stop multiple things, or at least have been working on something like that, because that's a lot of blood to take to make all those wards for every possible incarnation of things. But I mean, as we've all learned, nothing's impossible.
Right. Okay.
Interesting.
We're friends here. Answer me honestly. Why all the questions?
About blood? Or about
Wards.
the iron?
Wards, blood, vampire business.
Oh. Well. Bateman.
Right.
We've recently have come across a potential deal for a indefinite treaty
Ha!
between us and the vampires, and
Indefinite.
while it benefits us now, I don't trust that it will benefit them later.
That's thinking with your butt. Yeah, no. Indefinite is a word vampires use, which is until the next available convenience.
Right. So I thought what we should be doing is the plan before the plan.
Okay. So you want to be the first line of offense. You want to take action before they do.
Not necessarily take action before they do, but I want to make it so difficult that they have to take action.
Oh, so you want to poke at them. You want to piss them off and get them to be the ones to break first.
Eventually, once the benefits of the treaty no longer serve our side.
That's going to be a tough offer. There's not a lot that they care about that you can kind of tease them with or torment them with. And from the sounds of it, that treaty is fairly ironclad in terms of anyone foolish enough to fuck with werewolves gets what's coming to them.
Correct, and we have borders. But it sounds like something that is more precious than anything to their people, your people, is blood. So,
Yeah, you've already done a number on that.
well, we continue to choke it until it's problematic and they can no longer survive under the treaty that we have.
Yeah, I heard the ones that aren't in their little castles, their little towers, skyscrapers, are starving. I'm pretty unhappy.
Well, that's because you got to be able to play the price to find the alternative methods, and the price is a very much supply and demand deal. Those who control the blood trade dictate the price, and yeah, a lot of vampires of my caliber and others like me, not entirely like me, but on my same economic standing, can't afford that price.
Which is why I think we have a good enough working relationship that you won't be affected by any of our machinations.
Even after I've lost my usefulness?
I think we'll always find use for each other.
Maybe. Well. Okay. Yes. There are things that I can make that, if ingested by one of my kind, would be extremely harmful to them. They'd have to be pretty desperate, and if not desperate, they'd have to be stupid. Yeah, they'd have to not sniff it or taste it first, because they'd have to get a pretty good dose of it. It's not like one of those, oh, it just tickles the tongue and then they're dead. No, they'd have to truly drink of it. So you're looking at either one who's lost their wits and senses and is just given in completely to the hunger, or a fucking moron. But I will not be deterred. I can look into masking agents or potential ingredients that can cover up certain tastes or at least dull them enough that it would only take the most sharp of senses to notice it. Another issue you're going to run into is most of the vampires prefer it fresh. So whatever you put into somebody has to be put into a body first. Meaning a person.
Well, the question is, if you were to shrink a territory enough to where eating is problematic and cut off supply to blood from other means, as you said, they would take anything at that point, correct?
Some would. Others might move on, others might outsource. But where there's a will, there's a way. And even in the hardest times, vampires have persisted. They've found a way to keep going. I mean, they might even resort to animals.
Well, since we're friends, what would you suggest be the best way to, I guess, release a canary from their cage?
Well, since we're friends, I think you're already on a good track. The advantage most vampires have is their ability to blend in, go unnoticed. It's what makes them one of the ultimate predators. A wolf in sheep's clothing, so to speak. Continue starving them out, drive down their numbers, and then whatever you're left with, you do it the old-fashioned way with... But the less of them there are, the better your odds are. However, the ones you're going to most likely contend with are the older ones, most powerful of them. You're going to be dispensing of most of the rabble by cutting off their food supply, but the ones that are stubborn enough or have dug their heels in enough won't leave. They will find other alternatives. In fact, the oldest of us don't even need or can't even have human blood anymore. They need something else. Something that they could make if they needed to. Vampire blood. I'm talking about vampire blood. They eat other vampires.
It's like weird, messed up cannibalism, but okay.
They're cannibals. I mean, it's yeah.
But like on a different level in my...
Yeah.
Could you put something like what we had talked about into a vampire?
Ooh. That it could kill another vampire? That's where I would need information about the vampire that you were trying to kill, because certain vampires have certain weaknesses as opposed to other vampires. And so if they were to feed from a vampire, the one they're feeding from would need to not be as weak to the thing that they are ingesting. Which is where it gets a little bit dicey. Because then you need the right prey or the right subject for feeding on that is immune to whatever it is the feeder would be dead from.
Got it. Gets a little bit more complicated. I see. Okay.
Yeah. It's, like I said, it's dicey.
Okay. And I assume you wouldn't know anything about the, what did you call him? The prince? His feeding habits?
Oh, no, that's a safeguarded secret. Their types always keep that stuff on the down low because they know they'd be cut off if they did.
Okay.
It's a showing vulnerability thing. That's why a lot of them change their names, too, so that you don't know who they're related to.
Fair enough.
I'm sure you guys understand a thing or two about that. Well,
Why do you do this?
do what?
Give us all this information about them. Happily, readily, lots of it.
Because I didn't want to be this. Because I know the terrible things they do. I mean, if you think I'm bad with my occupation, trust me when I tell you I am nothing like them. I do have a code of ethics and morals. And try as I might, I haven't found whatever the secret is to undoing this. But if I ever did, I wouldn't hesitate.
Is that why you study potions class?
Now I got my ticket to Hogwarts.
Okay.
I have one last question. Bateman, I know you have a limited understanding of them, but what does someone who has everything want? What
To not
does
be bored. To be entertained. The older you get, the longer you live this life, the more tedious things become. There will always be new books and movies, sure, but reading, watching, you start to notice the patterns in all of it. What the oldest want is something new, something different. And if not that, something at least satisfying to some degree. A plaything or a game or the breaking of others. The further you get from being human, the less human things matter. The less you care about. The less ethical you become. Hurting others is emotion. An emotion they maybe have forgotten about or haven't experienced in a long time. So seeing it, feeling it, witnessing it, causing it can be a thrill. Not for me. I'm not that kind of sadist, like, ugh, gross. But it can be entertaining. I mean, they have no qualms about biting and feeding on people. So what's a little torture? I mean, most of them view you or view humans as sheep anyway, cattle. And I can't speak for all vampires, not all vampires. Sure, not all kindred, But some, the more sadistic ones, they lost their humanity. And that just happens with time as well as actions. But yeah, what do they want if they have everything? They want something they can't have or can't buy. Entertainment. Motivation. Something that gets them out of bed every night. Or else they might as well just go sleep for a few centuries until things are vastly different. And then they can wake up again to a new world until they get bored of that one.
Life sounds awful.
Wonder why I want to get out of it. Also, blood's not as tasty as it seems. Pennies. Seriously, pennies.
I've never once thought blood and like delicacy in the same notion. So I see that.
Yeah. It's an acquired taste. If it wasn't a need, I'm pretty sure none of us would choose to do it. But it's the drawback. It's the price. It's the cost of immortality, as overrated as that is.
Okay. Well, I'll make sure you get your list and make sure you get some blood.
Thanks. I always feel guilty asking, but I figure it's better to come from you than for me to go get it myself.
I think that's fair.
Helps the working arrangement.
And we can make sure it's ethically sourced.
Yeah. But please, no animals. Ugh. Ugh.
They really
Fair
taste
enough.
that gross to you?
Let's
Or
just
just a moral
say
because you like animals?
it's a reheated cheeseburger from a drawer compared to filet mignon.
Okay.
There's some who prefer it, which good on them. But if you ever see me hunched over a rat, I'm on hard times. Like really, 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 really hard times.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Well, I will get to work on this. I will see if I can come up with a bonding agent like a paintball that will shoot the iron. I'll also look into a misting strategy. That is going to take some time, but not impossible. And you're going to get me the list and maybe some blood, which would be awesome. And yeah. I hope this was helpful.
It was enlightening and helpful.
Look
That's
over
like-
to Jester.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna look over to Jester to just kind of gauge her reaction to her first meet with Spud.
She's holding something back, but it doesn't seem to be geared towards Spud.
Oh, and just in case, I might be moving soon. This place is starting to get a little bit crowded, and it's making me a little bit twitchy. So, yeah, I might relocate by the next time we meet up. But you got my number.
Sounds good. Thanks, Spud.
My distinct and utter pleasure. This was entertaining. As you step
There.
out of the RV, the door shutting behind you, the two of you have a few moments on your way to the car. Or in the car.
So,
Not that bad.
he's a bit of a pain in the ass and says the wrong thing sometimes, but sometimes you just gotta kind of look over it.
I'm from fucking Florida, you hear from inside the trailer.
See?
Yeah. Better than most of them.
You doing okay?
Look to the trailer. Let's get driving.
Okay.
As you climb into the car and begin the drive, leaving the RV complex and getting on the road.
Stare out the window for a moment, debating if I want to tell her. Take a deep breath. Remember when you asked about my mom and you said Bateman had, like, found out about my name and my history and had brought it up?
Yeah.
He did more than just bring it up. She's in a rehab in St. Pete. And he brought her there.
Oh. Okay. Do you, she kind of like taps on the steering wheel. She's kind of paying attention to the road, but she's also looking at Jester, knowing that Regina's gonna drive straight regardless.
Every now and then you feel the wheel turn on its own.
Well, I don't really know how to broach this, but do you want to find her?
We've got... There's too much on our plate, Aspen, like way too much, and I couldn't handle her and all of it at the same time.
I get that. I understand that. And obviously that decision is completely up to you, but I do
I'm
want to
gonna
say,
I'm gonna have to. Remember when I told you Star, like, gave me opportunities to help people? She's the third. So if I even want to, like, keep doing that, which I do, will have to do that, but I can't handle it now. I can't.
let me know
Doesn't
when you
help.
want to.
What do you think about what's going on with Artie?
I think that we have to figure it out. I think that it's gotten to a point where it's problematic, and I know we need to have a conversation about it. And I'm reeling on how to start that conversation and how to get it to a point where he doesn't feel attacked and he feels supported and like he's not a failure for what he's done, but he can do better.
I think he's convinced himself that he doesn't have a problem yet. But when I was talking to him about seeing him drink monsters and take caffeine pills, um, he said he's doing it because he needs to keep up with what he's doing. And he basically said that if he doesn't do what he does, he doesn't feel useful. So I think we need to convince him that no matter what, we value him more than what his use is.
Yeah. And I think it's a matter of letting him know that we all feel that way from time to time and that he's not alone and he doesn't have to feel like he's got the burden on him. I think we've all been there.
Yeah. I'm glad. I'm glad he has you. I'm glad we have you. And I'm glad I'm not the only one who's worried about it.
Well, I'm pretty glad that I have you around, because I don't know what I would do with all these boys.
Pull your hair out. You'd have to wear a wig. You'd be like so bald.
Right. But when you do decide, if you do decide, because regardless of what Star said, that's a choice that you can make on your own. And
I
if
know.
you decide, I'll be here.
I know. That's why I told you.
And this is where our story comes to a close this evening, but not without one last scene. Our scene takes us to a tree house high up in the trees. It's mostly just a bunch of planks and wood strung up haphazardly into the highest reaches of one of the trees of the cairn. But for all intents and purposes, one can call it a tree house. Inside, we see Alexander. He is sitting, holding his knees, eyes closed. Unlike usual, he's not murmuring to himself incessantly. He's actually just calmly and slowly breathing in and out. Breath in, breath out. Told me can't listen to you. They told me you only want bad things. And then a voice responds, but don't bad things sometimes feel so good? No. But also yes. But no, we can't do that. It's not going to bring them back. Won't it? The voice says in response. Don't be so sure. And as we pull back, we see spiders. Dozens of spiders crawling along the inner walls of the treehouse. And that is where our story comes to a close. Thank you so much to these amazing players. Thank you to everybody who stuck with us for this extra long session. We will be back with an episode of Hellhounds on Friday, and next week we'll be back with another episode of Rage Across Tampa. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Have a lovely evening, everyone.